Namaste. So we continue our meditation on the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Last lecture, we have seen the state of the mind, the present state of the mind, with which you are interacting with the world. And so I gave you a map of the mind, the terrain of the mind. So you can walk carefully, deal with the mind carefully. That was a bhogi's mind. Now how can we make it a yogi's mind? That's what we are going to see today. So we have defined enlightenment or moksha or abhavarga. These are the words used. Abhavarga used by Patanjali. Moksha is the word used by in Vedanta. And enlightenment, that's the English word. We have defined enlightenment as detached enjoyment of the world. Because when you enjoy, you transcend. You go beyond, you become timeless. So you can call it transcendence in transience, not transcendence from transience. Or stability in mobility. Let me put it another word. Stability in mobility. And the Bhagavad Gita used the word karmani agarma darshanam. Being actionless in the center of activity. That's our idea of enlightenment. You can call it moksha or abhavarga, whatever word you want to use. So this is called yogi's bhoga, another way of putting it. Yogi's bhoga. Not bhogi's yoga, please. Don't put it the other way. The other way doesn't work. The other way doesn't work. So yogi's bhoga. Like even you see a movie, that is a yogi's bhoga. Because you are enjoying the movie, but still you are other than the movie. You are safe and secure in your seat. Isn't it? You are not affected by what is going on. This I would call yogi's bhoga. Yogi because he is safe in his seat. We have already seen a yogi doesn't identify with his shadow or image that falls in the pool of the mind. Whatever falls in the pool of the mind, yogi knows he has to understand himself different from that. We have already seen that last class. Because dukkha is the final state of the mind. And the yogi, if you look into that, of course, you also are become a dukkhi, a sufferer. But you are not a sufferer. Remove the r from there. Suffering belongs to the mind. That is why in deep sleep there is no suffering. Deep sleep there is no suffering. There you are nearer to your true self. But you don't know it, that's the problem. So having understood this, now we want to develop this yogi's mind. What are the interventions possible in this state of mind? Of course, I have given you some toolkits, intervention, that you should develop vairagya, viveka, isn't it? Abhyasa, daily practice. What is the daily practice? Spend 1.5 hours or 45 minutes on the yoga mat. Even if you are a very enlightened yogi, you have to spend the time. Don't give up your yoga mat. Don't sell it off. I have become a perfect yogi. Now I can sell my yoga mat on a reduced price. No. You should not sell it off. You should keep it there. Every day, 45 minutes. So some of the toolkit that a yogi uses to climb the mountain of yoga, let us say, the summit of yoga. So one part of the toolkit is, or the content of the toolkit is, Viveka, Vairagya and Abhyasa, daily practice. And if you are a daily practitioner of yoga, you will enjoy doing it. Your mind will remind you, oh, today you did not do yoga, so there is some ache here, then ache there. Isn't it? The body will remind you, you have not done your yoga today. Just as if you have not taken your breakfast, your stomach will remind you. Gurgling, and you feel tired, isn't it? So similarly, yoga. So, and on the seat of yoga, on the yoga mat, what are you practicing? Asana, pranayama, om chanting. And what Shankaracharya says in his commentary of the Yoga Sutra, Atmanusandhanam. Keep holding on to that I experience in you. What is that I experience? As you focus on the breath, the I experience. I. This is called Atmanusandhanam. So what are things? Asana, the posture, and pranayama, anulom, vilom, etc. And om chanting. If you don't want to say om, you can say that also is okay. Or and while you are doing it, you are watching the stomach, how the stomach swells and falls, how the breath is moving throughout you like an electric current. All those things you can watch. It's a great enjoyment. There's a lot is happening in your own system. You can watch and enjoy the whole thing. And then you become relaxed. When you're relaxed, you become creative. When you're tense, you become destructive. You don't have to take a pill to become relaxed. Just do these exercises. So pranayama, om chanting, and then atmanusandhanam. As you are in the seat on the yoga seat, atmanusandhanam, the I experience that you have. The depth and the root of that I experience. So these are some of the tools you have with you, and then you are not identifying with the shadow or the reflection. That is you should be very careful about that. I don't identify with the shadow, the reflection, the sufferer. I am beyond that. That requires some attention, and deep attention is necessary for that. Now, as you climb the mountain peak of yoga, the summit of yoga, when you are on the summit of yoga, that state is called Nirbija Samadhi. Nirbija Samadhi. And the base of the summit, because you have to camp in the base and then acclimatize yourself, isn't it? If you are going to climb the Everest, or when you go to Mount Kailas to have an encounter with the Shiva, who is in deep meditation. So you have to go to Mount Kailas, wake up Shiva, so he can dance with the Shiva. Isn't it? That's your goal. So you need the base camp where you have to acclimatize yourself. Because the temperature is different, the oxygen level is different. You have to prepare yourself. So the base camp that you begin with, that begin itself is a yoga. That's called Vitarka yoga, Vitarka Samadhi. So from Vitarka, you slowly climb. From Vitarka to Vichara, second step. These are all Samadhi experiences. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, third state. Asmita, fourth state. Then Samprajnada, that is another state. I am using some words. Even if you are not able to write down these words, those who can write down, good. You cannot, don't worry. I'll be coming to that. Because what you need an experiential understanding, not just verbal understanding. So, vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmida, these are the states that you experience as you climb. Asmida, samprajnata, then asamprajnata, then nirbija samadhi. So how many stages are there in your climb to the summit of yoga, where you can be a yogi and dance, enjoy, say, I have arrived, kritagrityoham, that state. The first is vitarka samapatti, they say. The vitarka, okay, let me repeat it once again. So, vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmida, samprajnata, asamprajnata, and nirbija. Let me repeat once again. First is vitarka, second is vichara, third is ananda, fourth is asmida, fifth is samprajnata, sixth is asamprajnata, seventh is nirbija. Isn't it? 7 stages to the mountain peak, to the promised land. These are the 7 stages. And you have the toolkits. I already given you the toolkits. You know, on the mat, off the mat, all the toolkits have been given. Now, how do we proceed? Is the question. So, what is the meaning of vitarka? Vitarka also has got 2 stages. Savitarka and nirvitarka. Savitarka and nirvitarka. There are 2 stages. What is vitarka? Vitarka is you are redefining your relationship with the world outside. Because the world outside is a torture chamber for you now, isn't it? You don't want to meet anybody, everybody creates problem for you, you create problem for others. So you are afraid of the world, you are afraid of even your family. You want to spend the time in the club and drink and play cards. Don't you have a family? I am afraid of going there. My children, they have become teenagers. The moment they see me, they shout at me. I shout at them. And there is no peace at home. So the world outside that you see, instead of enjoying that, the world, it becomes a source of suffering. Anxiety, tension, fear. So you have to redefine your relationship. How do you redefine your relationship? By tarka, I say. Tarka means a rational understanding of the world. What is the rational understanding of the world? Everything is constantly changing. And I cannot get any happiness from these relationships. They may give me some pleasure. When I play with my grandchild, I get some pleasure. Or my wife cooks some good meal and I enjoy it, I get some pleasure. And when I say today sambar was very good, she gets some pleasure. Isn't it? Not more than that. So therefore understand that world is constantly changing. It cannot give you security or happiness. With our understanding, and you can keep saying it also. This is called Shabdanavidha in Trikdrishya Vedavyasan. Shabdanavidham. When you relate with someone, maybe your close friend or your relative or maybe neighbor, when you relate with someone, keep repeating in yourself, Shabdam. Shabdam means this word. Say that, I cannot get happiness. I will not. That's a false happiness of me. And I cannot get any security from this. You cannot expect security from your children. When they grow up, they fly away. And you are left in the lurch. Empty nest syndrome, isn't it? And from far away, they say, Mom, on your birthday, they may remember you, send you a card. Nothing more than that. And when you are deep sleep, midnight, there is a call from America. And you wake up, say, Mom, I am very busy. I just want to call you, I am leaving. Isn't it? This is the kind of response you get. So therefore, don't depend Depend on yoga, not on this relationship. You cannot get security. You cannot get happiness. You cannot get even health from the world outside. They may pump you with a lot of medicine, but your health has to be invoked from within yourself. We have seen all this. So keep on reminding in very many words as you relate to the world. And when you do this, you are in a vitarka state of samadhi. Some peace descend in your mind, isn't it? There is some peace. As you know, there's a story. A monkey saw a jar full of peanuts. Monkey dipped his hand into this jar. The jar has got a very narrow neck. He dipped his hand and then took a handful of peanuts. Now you cannot take out the hand because he has clenched his hand and the peanut. By the time the shopkeeper came, he saw the monkey meddling, messing up with his peanuts, stock of peanuts. And he started beating the monkey back and blue. And the jar is so heavy, the monkey cannot run away with the jar. So finally monkey realized, my problem is I am grasping, holding on. This meaningless peanut and suffering. Of course, peanut, when you munch a peanut, there is some pleasure, but now let me give it up. And he gave it up, released himself from the jar and then ran away and climbed up the trees. Now he is safe, isn't it? So similarly, you have to free yourself. This suffering is not worth enduring. You can be free from this just by detached engagement. So this is called Savitarka Samadhi. Now you are in Samadhi. In that state, you are in Samadhi with reference to the world. Otherwise, you are in Asamadhi. Samadhi means what? A calm mind, a balanced mind, a mind which doesn't react. Samadhi, Samadhi, a mind which doesn't react, a mind which responds appropriately. Does not react means you are keeping quiet and doing nothing. You respond appropriately so that you don't have to say, I'm sorry, I am guilty. That state of mind attains a level of samadhi. That is the minimum level of samadhi you can enjoy with reference to the world. This has to be practiced. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, isn't it? Vairagyena tu grijyate. Now your question is that, is there any pill, a tablet to develop this state of mind? There is no tablet. There is no shortcut. You have to practice every day. Whenever there is a painful situation, you have to observe, detach, and then engage. I'm not saying you should run away. Where will you run away? Even if you run away to an ashram, there is more problems there. So better wherever you are. So therefore, first is the Savitarka Samadhi. That's tarka means rational. Rationally look at the world. Not emotionally, not hormonally. That's what we are doing. And we get a hormonal satisfaction. Oh, I showed him. I said a few words. Who does he think I am? He does not know who I am. I am so and so. He knows nothing. So these kind of bravado is not going to help us. So be rational in your relationship with the world outside. And again, you can go on and you will learn in your own way how to employ this strategy in relationship with the world. You have to learn from your own experiences. I can give you only certain cues, certain words. So keep on saying, so that your brain works accordingly, your mind works accordingly. Then from Savitarka, you can move to Nirvitarka. Is in Savitarka, you keep on saying the sentences, words, I should not get angry, I should be level-minded, I should be balanced, etc. All those things you can say. In Nirvitarka, it becomes your nature. That is called Nirvitarka Samadhi. There you don't have to use the words. So Patanjali says, Shabdartha Jnana Vikalpehi Sangirna Savitarka. There you have to use the words and sometimes refer to the dictionary to see the meaning of the words, and then you have to apply that, and slowly but steadily and surely you come to a stage, Smriti Parishuddha. Smriti means memory. You had all those bad memories. The memory has gone into your muscles. The moment you see your, let's say, daughter-in-law, your blood pressure goes up. Sorry for all these family examples. There very situation beyond your control. You start behaving. So, Smriti Parishuddha. So now you have got a control over the muscle memories. Smriti memories. So that you can effortlessly employ the strategy of dealing with this world. That state is called Nirvitarka Samadhi. And you enjoy deeper peace. Earlier it was a superficial peace. Isn't it? You don't shout at that person, but you go home and kick your dog or your cat. Isn't it? You are not doing it there because Swamiji told me I should not be angry with my neighbor. My poor dog and cat become a victim of your suppressed passive aggression. So one has to deal with this straight deeply. Otherwise, you will continue to behave. You become sick also. You become sick and perverted and all that. A double-faced person. A hypocrite. I would rather let you shout. So these two strategies are necessary. Savitarka Samadhi. Samadhi means balance of mind. Nirvitarka Samadhi. With reference to the world. Now the next stage, this you have to practice, please. Abhyasena tu kamdeya, vairagyena tu gire. If you want a peace, which passeth all understanding, peace is not an interregnum between two wars. That is not peace. Peace is a deeper state. If you want to experience that, this is what we have to do. And then this gives you a platform to climb to the next stage. What is the next stage of Samadhi? It's called Vichara Samadhi. So Vichara. Vichara means reflection. Now you are moving inside. Now the problem is inside. Outside you are settled account. And still there is problems inside. So how do you deal with that? Inner issues. Inner prejudices, inner biases, inner fears, inner anxieties. The mind is a seething sea of confusion. What do you do with that mind? So here Patanjali advocates Vichara, watching. Watch your inner mind. And now we have the leisure to do that. Earlier did not have the leisure or the time. Now, or the strength. Now we have the leisure to watch your mind. For the first time, you start watching the theater of your mind, which is called Vichara. So, when anger rises up, when violent thoughts rises up, when fear manifests, you are not acting accordingly because you have disciplined your muscles. You are disciplined that. And immediately you will sit in, let's say, Chin Mudra. You are angry, but you sit in Chin Mudra. Or take a deep breath. Or tell yourself, don't be angry. Or take a cold shower, whatever. But still it is inside. The muck is inside. The mind will be moving accordingly. Therefore, you have to watch the mind. And when you watch the mind, these emotions settle down by themselves. That's the beauty. Because they don't have strength. Unless you keep on feeding them, those emotions doesn't have any strength. Feeding them means acting accordingly. When you are not acting accordingly, they lose their strength and it is easy to tackle. So you simply watch them. Your anger, watch. Your jealousy, watch. Your fear, watch. You are not acting accordingly. You are not feeding. As a result, you are able to manage them. They slowly settle down, like fire without fuel. If you don't feed fire with fuel, then fire will slowly settle down. Of course, it is there. If you put another, again fuel, it will flare up. Fire, isn't it? So watch. It's a beautiful journey to the inner sanctum sanctorum. So watch your mind. This is a subtle aspect of your life. The other one was gross outside. Sthula. This is Sushma. When you watch your mind, it slowly settles down. And you can also use words. Don't be angry, etc. Words you can use. When you use words, Shabdartha Jnana Vikalpai Sankirna. Because you have to use words, you have to know the meaning of the words, and you have to refer to the notes. But slowly but steadily, you don't have to even use words, and the mind becomes calm. And that state is called Vichara Samadhi. The Vichara also Nirvichara, Savichara, Nirvichara. Two states are there. Samadhi. Samadhi means mind is deeply at peace and creative also. You have immense choices. Otherwise, you have only one choice. Here, when the mind is calm and at peace, you enjoy better and greater choices. That stage is called Vichara Samadhi or Nirvichara Samadhi. And from this, you experience a unique joy. Some joy wells up from within, not from outside. You get an experience of that. You start listening the music of the spiritual sphere. That is called Ananda. That Ananda is not Bhogananda. It is Yogananda. For no reason you are happy. Have you gone mad? No. Then why are you so happy? I experienced it from within yourself. I get some kind of intimation from the deeper levels of my being, though I am not yet there. I am not yet there. It's like seeing the mountain, the Everest. You are not yet there, but you can see the glimpses as the clouds part. You can see the sun shining on the glaciers. You can get that. You are mystically happy. You are not enjoying anything. Anything can make you happy. Maybe a sunrise or a moonrise or a cloud, formation of clouds or children playing or a flower blooming. You are not consuming anything at that stage. So this Anandam is experienced. Ananda means that joy is experienced in that state. So that is another state. You get that inner joy. So sometimes, how can you be so happy? You are all alone sitting in a corner reading books. How can you be happy? And you forget even to eat. Right? You are not wasting your time on the cell phone or the computer. You seem to be very, very happy. What is the secret? Who is tickling you? Nobody is tickling me. I feel it from within, welling up from myself. And I don't feel the time now. Though occasionally I look into my watch. Isn't it? So that Anandam is a different Anandam. Joy. Its flavor is different. Its color is different. Its taste is different. Only yogi can experience that. And that's another state. So, Vitarka, Vijara, Ananda. Then, yogi develops a new identity. Asmida. Asmida means an identity. The yogic identity he developed. Now he no more says, I am miserable, I am unhappy, I am done, I want to die. None of these words he will listen from a yogi. His identity is totally different. Because his identity is influenced by this ananda that he is feeling. Earlier, if you ask the bhogi, how are you, sir? Chalta hai, some other things are, I am managing. Isn't it? There is no energy in what he is saying or she is saying. Here, you come to a state of a new identity you are formed out of this deeper experience of joy. Your identity is totally different. That state is called, because now we are well perched or established in that state. That's called asmida. This asmida is called vivekaja asmida. There is another asmida we have seen. Avidya asmida. That is avivekaja asmidam. Asmida. That's an identity based upon aviveka, indiscriminate thinking. Here it is discriminate thinking. You are able to distinguish between the real and unreal. So vivekaja asmida. The other is avivekaja asmida. So these two asmidas are different. Those who read Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they may get confused. There also Patanjali used the word asmida. Here also used the word asmida. They are different asmida. Here it is a joyous identity. There is a miserable identity. Here you have got viveka. There you don't have any viveka. Asmida. Now you move into another state called samprajnata samadhi. Consciously you are calm and quiet and creative, dynamically creative. So this is called samprajnata samadhi. You're consciously calm. Have you experienced that state? Meaning your body and your mind experience a state of deep quietude and calm. Your muscle memories are changed. Your mind has become calm. You know, sometimes we sit physically calm, but mentally disturbed. So you're not only physical calmness, and you are moving about also. You're cooking, you are cleaning your vessels, you are cleaning your everything you are doing. But there is a deep peace, like Gandhi on the charka. When Gandhi is on the charka spinning, he is very calm. I say, Meera was a British lady, very rich lady. She wanted to see Beethoven, or to live in the land of Beethoven. So she came to Paris and met Roman Roland. So he asked him, I want to hear Beethoven's symphony in his native land. So Roman Roland told her, there is a moving, living symphony, much better than Beethoven's. Who is that? What is that? Gandhi said. Go to India and sit in the presence of Gandhi. You can listen and feel the symphony of the universe. And she cancelled her ticket to Switzerland and came to India, met Gandhi, and almost 40 years she kept on looking at Gandhi because he was a yogi. There's tremendous peace. When you go to Ramana Maharshi, you feel the same thing. Calm and quiet. At the same time, very active. So in this state, physically you are quiet, mentally you are quiet. That's called conscious state of samadhi. And you say it, you feel it, you mean it. While you are dealing with the world, please, that should not be forgotten. You are dealing with the world, you are driving, you are cooking, you are meeting your clients, you are doing everything. You are doing it. Or dealing with your body, illness and all that. All that. These are all outside you. So, but still, now there is one more stage, the Samprajnada Samadhi. From Samprajnada, but still the unconscious, your deeper mind, which is called the unconscious. There are a lot of ghosts there. Lot of problems there. The backyard of your home, let us say. When I come to your house, everything is clean, your everything is fine in your inside the house. But outside it is squalor. Inside it is splendor. So inside is splendor and outside is squalor. You don't want me to go to your basement or your toilet. Because Swami, you don't go there, that's not your place. No, I want to see that. I want to see your toilet. I want to see your backyard. How are you keeping it? No, you don't. You should not see that. That's not for Swami. That is for ordinary people. No, I want to see that place. So as you go deeper, because you find sometimes these things are bubbling up. Sometimes these things are, where are they bubbling up? What is the source? What is rotten? Deep within me. That area is a vast area. Because the whole evolutionary past is deposited there. That area is called the unconscious. And unless you deal with that, things have not improved. There is something rotten in the state of Denmark, they say. There is something rotten somewhere. That is why suddenly you burst out. You look like a saint for 20 years, and then suddenly you burst out and do something which is unbecoming of you. You feel ashamed. And others are stunned. Why this guy behaves like that? I have been offering flowers at his feet or her feet. Now suddenly this has happened. Isn't it? So what is the source? Where is this thing coming from? And that area is unknown to you. Freud in modern psychology calls it unconscious. And our Shastra, Vedanta and Yoga Shastra call it the vasanas. Vasanas. All that you've stored in the basement of your mind, you don't know it unless it explodes into the conscious mind. It has to explode into consciousness. And certain moments, it simply explodes. Otherwise, everything is okay. Don't you say sometimes, don't provoke me beyond a limit, I will show you my true nature? I have to provoke you. And I'm very calm and powerful and quiet, and then you cannot provoke me that easily. But beyond a point, you can even provoke Shiva. Shiva is in deep meditation. When Sati went to her house, father's house, Shiva's wife, consort, and there she jumps into the fire because of certain incidents, and Shiva gets that information. Then he breaks out. The calm, quiet Shiva makes this thunderous dance and destroys everything. So sometimes it happens. You have to deal with that unconscious, which is unknown to you now, unless it is expressed. And moments where you are not alert, these things will manifest. And the whole, what you are built up, everything crumbles. So don't sit in a kind of smug satisfaction, I have become a yogi. You have become only half yogi. A half yogi is a dangerous yogi. Isn't it? Therefore, you have to become a full-fledged yogi. How do I do that? How do I deal with my unconscious? Is the question. So Patanjali gives a lot of disciplines, lot of practices, another set of toolkit. Because these toolkits are, let me say, Shraddha Virya Smriti Samadhi Prajna Purvagam. You have to have Shraddha. Shraddha means whatever the Yoga Sutra says, you have to have Shraddha. First of all, believe there is something called the unconscious. And also believe that your real nature is not affected by any of this. That we have seen already. So two kinds of Shraddha. That my real nature is Nitya Shuji Sukha Atma. Don't give up that raft, that body armor. That faith is very, very important. That my real nature is Nitya Shuji Sukha Atma. But I don't feel it at this time. But that's my nature. That is the scripture says, my guru says. I myself feel it very deeply. So that Shraddha should not be given up. And also the Shraddha, when the Yoga Sutra says, there is a deep layer of unconscious material in you, which will keep manifesting, like a rotten egg at the bottom of a lake. It will keep sending, bubbles. So that one must be. Don't smugly feel I have arrived. You have not. You are only halfway. So, Shraddha, Viryam. Viryam means energy. At this point, you will get some energy anyway, because you already climbed halfway. Isn't it? As Bhagavad Gita says, Alpam PST dharmasya trayade mahadogaya. Even little effort if you make, I will help you. So, Shraddha, Viryam, Smriti, memory. Because whatever you have learned, whatever you have practiced, they are all stored in your memory. You can bang upon that. You can take to that. This memory will come to you. So Smriti, the Smriti is that you have created, the right kind of knowledge that you have created. Then Samadhi. Samadhi, whatever experience of peace that you have gained, that also is available for you. You have got a lot of resources available at this stage. Prajna Purvakam. So one has to practice. What are the special practices you require to deal with this unconscious, to clean up your basement of your mind? What are the things? Patanjali says, Ishvara Pranidhanam. One of the discipline he prescribes is Ishvara Pranidhanam. Surrender to God. Surrender. How do you do that? How do you surrender? How do you surrender? Whenever one thing we don't know whether you believe in God or not. I have not yet described what God is. But most of you, all of you have some idea of God, what God is. There is some power whose help you can seek. So at this time, don't blame yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Don't condemn yourself. You seek help. It could be your guru, it could be your parents, it could be your good friend. It would be go for a tirtharnam, or go to your puja room and do some namaskaram there, prostrate. All these are ways of connecting to the God. Or Patanjali says, Ishvara Pranidhanam, Omkara Jabam, Artad Bhavanam. Chant Om loudly. Whenever these things, inner, subconscious, material, shows up in terms of anger, agitation, fear, jealousy, etc., you have to chant Om. How loud? As loud as you can. Chant Om. Omkara Jabam. That is the way to surrender to the Ishvara. If you believe in Krishna, you can say, Krishna will protect me. Shiva will protect me. Christ will protect me. Muhammad will protect me. Whatever belief you have, seek that outside. Or have some conversation with your good friend who initiated you to yoga. Write an email to the guru. Something you need something. Ishvara pranidhanam. Meaning relax. That's all what it ultimately means. When these things happen, suddenly the ground under your feet is collapsing. You feel the carpet is being pulled. I thought I was a good yogi. What happened to me? When such things come, don't blame yourself. Be calm. Surrender. Surrender to the universe. At least I have reached up to here. Now it is easy to go up. That kind of attitude, Ishvara Pranidhanam, Ekatattva Abhyasam, another discipline. Ekatattva Abhyasam. Ekatattva means one flame. So you can focus on your breath, Ekatattva, or a flame, or a picture of Buddha or Krishna. Ekatattva Abhyasam. Ekatattva means one form. So there is another principle given. All these have to be elaborated and practiced. It is only through practice you can elaborate on this. Ekatattva Abhyasam. Then practice this discipline, like Maitri, friendliness. Because you are angry with somebody, Maitri, friendliness. Practice that. Karuna, compassion. Mudidam, cheerful. If you are in a depressed state at this time, go to a puja room or bathroom, as I told you. Pull your chin toward the ears and be cheerful. Cheerfulness is a great discipline. Just smile. Learn to smile. There is nothing to be moody and worried, and learn to smile. So, mudidam, ubeksha. Ubeksha means watchfulness. Sometimes it is described like indifferent. It's not indifferent. You are watching, not reacting. Although you want to react, practice that. These 4 disciplines. What are the 4 disciplines? Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Friendliness, compassion, cheerfulness, and watchfulness. Practice that. Then pranayama, of course. Pranayama, deeper pranayama, not just anulom-vilom. But there is various other deeper pranayamas. Patanjali himself says, like Kabalbhati or Bhramari. There are deeper pranayama that you can practice. Then Vishayavadi Pravarti, or do something which is interesting to you. Paint, run, go for a swim, or do your, this mathematical problem, or take your veena and play on that, or dance. All those things you can do because you are doing something very interesting to you. Otherwise you will go deep into depression, into that dark basement of your mind. Isn't it? So pranayama, then Jyotishmadi. Jyotishmadi means when you are deep depression, put all the lights on. Meaning there is an inner light. So meditate on that inner light. When you close your eyes, watch your breath. The light blinks. Watch on that. Jyotishmadi. The consciousness, the light of consciousness in which you experience everything. That's the Jyotish we are talking about. Meditate on that. All this requires some guidance. I am just walking you through the territory of yoga. Jyotishmadi. Vedaraga Vishayam Chittam. And also practice Vedaragam. Raga means desire. Watch your desire. Reduce your desire. You don't need all these desires. Ever exponentially increasing desires. Watch your desire. They are not worth pursuing. They are not your friend. Live a minimalist life. So, Vidaraga Vishayam Chittam. Then Swapanandra Jnanarama. These are the disciplines to tackle your unconscious. Another discipline is what happens to you in dream and sleep. Swapana Nidra Jnanam. What is that experience? What is the data that you can collect? when you go to deep sleep, when you are dreaming. That's a totally different experience, isn't it? Unfortunately, in our analysis of life, we don't include this data from these states of experiences. So, sapana, nidra, lalbanam. So, in this state, do some shavasana, let's say. Have you practiced shavasana? Rigor mortis. Lie on your back and pretend you are dead. That is called shavasana. Pretend, don't die, pretend. Isn't it? So you're diving, drop the body, drop the mind, drop memories, drop everything, and go into your depth. Practice that. Sapna, nidra. Then sapnam. Sapna means, you're creating a new world, which is, of course, the resources are from the material world, but you're creating something new. And that, like these young children, they can spend their time on internet platform and create their own world, enjoy, they can invest, they can make money, they can build a city, they can build everything, and at the end of the day, they feel foolish. Isn't it? So, the whole thing is, you understand, this is something you created, you can create, you can develop, you can destroy, and you can say, I'm okay. Sapna nidra. So what is sapna? What is sleep? Look at that. So thus, if you practice, you will be able to deal with your unconscious conditioning, prejudices, biases, which influence your behavior in the material world. So you are transcended to 3 levels now. The sthula, the sukshma, and the karana shariras. And beyond is your true self. So there should be your root. And from that you have to sprout and grow and encompass the whole universe. So your roots are not in the right place now. Actually, you have no root. You are a rootless person. Rootless and ruthless person. When you are rootless, you become ruthless. Isn't it? So therefore, we have to strike your roots beyond this nirvikalpa samadhi into another state. So when you do all this, certain abilities also come to you. Paramanu, paramahatvanda, tasya vashikaraha. As a result of that, you are able to situate yourself in this complex world. Paramanu, paramahatvandam. You are able to see the tree as well as the forest. You are able to be an atomic individual in the context of the cosmos. I mean, your body-mind is a little atom, isn't it? You are able to situate yourself, contextualize your life. You are able to see the particular tree in the context of the forest. Sorry for using these metaphors. There is no other way of saying things. You understand where you are, what you are, you're able to connect with the entire ecosystem. That is called Paramanu, Paramahatvanda. Everything is an anu, everything is an individual, but including you. At the same time, you are part of a system which stretches up to the Big Bang and the Big Crunch. Isn't it? So we are able to experience that. You experience, as I used to say, your heartbeat become the heartbeat of the universe. So these are the gains, the experience that you gain. Paramanu, para mahatvanda tasya vashika. Alinga paryavasanam. Alinga means in the yogic terminology, the pradhana. You are able to reach the very ground of everything. Your roots are there in this state. You are in total harmony. You dance with the universe. You are inclusive. But still, this is called asamprajnata samadhi, this state. Oh, these are all very difficult, isn't it? These are all very, it's not difficult. If you pursue it systematically, you get help from the universe. This is not difficult. This makes your life purposeful. Otherwise, life has no purpose. You create your own purpose. So when this state is attained, a yogi becomes inclusive. He can experience himself in the context of the whole universe. Paramanu, Paramahattvanda. And thus, Chunavrittihi. Chunavritti means the old prejudices, biases, fears, anger, jealousy, everything is attenuated, everything is reduced. The pressure of the past is reduced. And the anxiety of the future is reduced. The mind is calm, very deeply calm. That's something which you have to experience. I may use words. Your mind becomes very deeply calm. And the flavor and the fragrance of the beauty of your personality at that time. It becomes very mystic and bewitching. But still, Patanjali says, Trinavritti. In this state, Patanjali says, Manehe, your mind becomes like a crystal clear. When the mind is crystal-like, it doesn't impose itself on anything. Everything is seen and experienced in their true nature. At this point, we don't do that. We always color things. We use our own lenses. So you see what you want to see, or what you are habituated to see. So you always live in the past, not in the present, either in the future or in the past. Past is dead and gone, future has not yet come, and you miss everything, isn't it? The mind is free from all these prejudices and biases and the memories and the so-called knowledge and the judgment based on that, and ultimately misery. When the mind is purified of all this, you get a fresh set of perception, eyes. And with that, Manehe, Mani means a crystal. So when the mind is able to see the world as it is, and your sense organs become pure, 5 sense organs, eyes, ears, nose, etc., purified. Memory is cleared up. And in that state, Grahidra, your perception becomes clearer. Grahidra, the perceiver. Grahyam, the object outside. And Grahanam, the sense organs. All of them are purified. Kind of spring cleaning. Deep cleaning, let's say. Everything is done. There's no interference by the mind. Mind only records what is actually there. Mind is not living in its own foolish world. So at that stage, Patanjali says, Nirvichara Vaisharadyehe Adhyatma Prasadaha. You experience the shower of blessing. Some deep, from the deeper level, light radiates into the mind. Some blessing happens. Some light radiates. Some energy passes out. Adhyatma Prasada. Rudambara Tatra Prajna. There your prajna, your intelligence become Rudambara, saturated with the cosmic intelligence. Rhythm, your mind become perfectly balanced. You're no more acting on your individual whims and fancies. All your thoughts and actions become God's actions, God's thoughts. The universe actions, universe thoughts. You become a channel of that. Something else functions through it. Because these instruments are readied, purified. You feel a flute in the hand of Krishna, let us say. Isn't it? With the 5 holes in a stretch and 1 hole at the end. Isn't it? And Krishna picks the flute and, beautiful music warbles out of that. You become one like that. It radiates from the deeper level. Rudambara tatra prajna. Shuddhanumana prajnabhyam anya. This prajna, this insight, this knowledge is totally different from what you had known before in the library, the books and the museums and all that. It's a totally different knowledge. Totally different way of looking at things. So that one has to understand. It's natural. It's spontaneous. And this light which radiates, this intelligence which shoots through you, which shines through you, creates a new culture, a new yogic experience for you of looking at the world. When you look at the world, totally different perception. When you watch your own mind, totally different. Everything becomes beautiful. But be detached from that also, he says. Be detached from that also. The detachment should go all the way through. So Patanjali says, next sutra he says, Tajya samskara anya samskara pradibandhi. This new culture that you develop, it will destroy the old culture, or it will integrate. It will destroy the old way of doing things. There's a new culture, is the yogic culture. But this culture also has to be detached, watched. Otherwise you can get stuck there. Otherwise you can. Because this culture is dynamically changing. Detached from that, Patanjali says, Tasyabi nirodhe. When you're able to watch this joy that welling up in you, Tasyabi nirodhe, you collapse into your true nature. This is called Nirbija Samadhi. Now we attained Nirbija Samadhi. No bija. Bija means no seeds. You can never come back from this state. There's no more disturbance. All the seeds have been burnt. Daddha bija vada. All the seeds of the old habits have been burnt, but completely. Now you are in a brand new yogi, he says. This is the summit of yoga, Nirbija Samadhi. But at each level you are experiencing this peace. Each level you are experiencing this joy. Each level you are experiencing this clarity. So Patanjali is refining what is already refined. Like in Ayurveda, you have to refine what is already refined, again refine it, again refine it. Isn't it? So the 7th level, you reach the pinnacle of your journey. And there you can stick your flag of yoga and then say, I have arrived. Isn't it? That is the state. From there, you look at the world. With that understanding, you can come down again to the world. In all this while, you never left the world anyway. So this is the state one has to. It's very difficult to explain unless you experience it, unless you go through it. See? If you sit there and scratch your head and say how this is possible, it is possible. You have the inner ability to do that. Don't discount your capacities. Don't disown your true nature. So Patanjali says the seventh kind of. So let me repeat, what are they? Vitarka, Vijara, Ananda, Asmida, Samprajnada, Asamprajnada, Nirbija. Nirbija Samadhi. That's a Samadhi we are talking about. So today I told you surrendering to Ishvara. Patanjali uses the word Ishvara here. What is this Ishvara? So next talk will be on Bhogi, Yogi and Ishvara. Bhoga, Yoga and Ishvara. These are three types of things people will see. Bhogi, Yogi, Rohi, of course, Drohi, and all those things. So next talk will be Patanjali's idea of Ishvara, and I'll situate that Ishvara concept with the various other Ishvaras. And what's your relation with that Ishvara? Who are you as a Bhogi and a Yogi and all that will be discussed next time. Thank you very much. Now when you read the Yoga Sutras, at least something will click in your mind. Something. You have to read it again and again. It is not one reading. This is a scripture. Scripture means you have to read it at least 9 times. Then alone something will stick in your mind. It's not like a novel, on the railway station or airport, the flight is late, you get a novel and read it and then you flip it and then you forget where it is. It is not like that. Patanjali Yoga Sutras you have to read at least 9 times. With this background, then it becomes somewhat clear to you. So I wish you all the best. Catch hold of your text, get your text, order in the Amazon, they will deliver you on your doorsteps, and then browse through that and see some of the words which I have been saying will be there, because all my talks are based on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and read that and you will be immensely benefited. Thank you very much.